midsummer is only 2 days hence. I don't see how you can possibly be ready, Brother Jethro.
Fear not, old friend. Formal assures me that the stage will be ready this evening, and I've never known him to be wrong. Everything will be quite all right.
Cutting things close doesn't suit me. You know that. I'm a planner. I'm a philosopher. This whole business has my humors out of balance.
There, Brother Wilport. You just let me fret about the play, and you make sure the feast is perfect. I'm especially looking forward to that hot root sun salad.
Oh, yes, quite right. There's much to be prepared. Friar Randall was concerned that the cheese and onion hogsbake was too heavy to follow the brazier leaks. He may be correct.
You see, there's far more need for your talents in the kitchen than out here. Let your old friend do what he's good at, making a fool of himself. Oh, my.
Very well, I'll take my leave. But please try to keep on schedule. You know how I worry.
Indeed I do. Sister Edelweiss, I trust William won't perish before he has a chance to taste the good friar's blackberry crumble.
Oi, now. It's hard to say. 'Tis surely a bit of blackwater fever. Now I can't remedy with some nettles and wort, but that foul temper, no, that just might be fatal.
I'm not grumpy.
No? Boy, Yoki, then why in the sharp tongue when I asked for that filthy old winglass? The rusty old thing is reeking with mould and mire. It's likely the cause of your fever for all the fuss it's bearing.
Sorry, Grandfather. I found it in the library.
You're Nao. You drinkers as tonic, and you'll be out storming dark forest with all them's dibbins afore a moon's turned her face this way, boy.
We're ready for Hilltop Camp, Brother Jethro. Shall we wait for you?
No need to wait, lads. Carry on, and I'll be there shortly. Thank you for your legendary healing skills, sister. As always, we are in your debt.
We? I say it's just you who be's owing moi.
Oh, I hadn't seen this in ages, and such perfect timing, dear boy. Do you know who this weird glass belonged to, William?
Honest truth, I just thought it was another trinket you'd packed away for no good reason.
Trinket? Better waffles. This was one of the trusty tools carried by the Lilygrove Scout Corps back when Clooney the Scourge, that wretched pirate, laid siege to Redwall Abbey. And it so happens that this very thing has a role to play in the story we'll be telling for the abbot's celebration. I've written a play to share one of my lost legends with all of Redwall. Of course, everyone knows about Matthias and Constance and Basil Staghair, but few know about the trio of brave woodlanders from Lilygrove who played a crucial role in those events. Have you ever heard of Liam or Sophia Rivermouse?
No, but, I don't suppose you could be telling me the story, since I'm bedridden and ailing, and might not live to see the play. Please?
Let's see. Where to begin? Yes, initiation. 'Twas a frozen evening in midwinter. The sky was clear but for a loosely bound fleet of easterly clouds that wore the light of twilight and had earlier that day dusted the hollows of the weathered oaks with snow. A frosty breeze stirred the heavy locks of the cypresses' winter needles, and two mice warmed their paws against the January chill. Liam and Sophia were young, ambitious, and betrothed. Both had trained hard to join the ranks of the Lilygrove Scout Corps, a rather storied group of woodland rangers who kept safe the lands betwixt Mossflower country and the mountain warrens. The one had graduated that week prior, and now it was time for the other to prove their mettle. Once initiated, they planned to wed. But that was not to be. Not yet, anyway.
Initiation night. It's finally happening. We've planned so long for this. And now that it's here, I'm not sure I'm ready.
I feel the same way. I haven't the faintest notion of what comes next. It's exciting, isn't it?
Yes, and frightening.
Alas, I am late. I hope you'll pardon it. The fiery ring of devastation needed to be refueled. I trust neither of you caught a shiver. I was sick with the wretch for my initiation. Didn't make a bit of difference, though. A scout needs to be ready, no matter the situation. So, which one of you is in the dock this fine winter evening?
That would be me. And I'm not about to retch. What do we do now?
Quite sure, are you? Sophia, I trust you didn't tell our initiate about the adder's eggs.
Not a peep, sir. The secret is safe with me.
It makes me a proud mouse to see youngsters like yourself continuing with the Scout Corps. In order to become a full member of the Lilygrove Scout Corps, you must complete a series of tests to prove you've got the mettle. These are the things you've been training for the last several moons, so I don't expect any surprises.
I'm so excited for you to finally join us as a fully-fledged scout, Liam. Oh, and guess what? Coyle's going to let me oversee your trials myself. Captain Robin thought I'd be too biased to be the best judge of your skills, but I assured him I've never gone easy on you before, nor will I start tonight. Now, we'll start by heading to a nearby cave. It's treacherous, but nothing you can't handle. Plus, I'll be there to guide you. You'll do great. I know it. Oh, and before we go, take this. A proper scout's got to have an adventurer's journal.
What are you lollygagging around here for, initiate? Don't you want to be a scout? There's work to be done.
Hold on. I thought you were sticking around to oversee me.
I am, but you've got to complete them on your own. I'll be around to help, even if you can't see me. Here we go. All you've got to do is follow the cave to reach each of your tasks. Ready to start? For your first trial, you've got to figure out how to get across this gap. If I were you, I'd try using my trusty slingshot. Great shot, Liam! Oh, you've always had a knack for the slingshot. Now, continue up ahead for the next trial.
Whew. That wasn't nearly as hard as I thought it would be. I'm not nervous at all.
You've got this, Liam. Your Sophia believes in you. Ready for your next trial? You've got to identify which flag your scent is passing over.
But, Sophia, there's no wind in this cave, is there?
Can't you feel the cool draft, Liam? Or is your fur that much thicker than mine? As you know, scent travels on the wind, and wind is just about everywhere, even in these caves. If you pay close attention, you'll be able to sense the wind's motion all around you, almost as if you can see it. Watch the direction the wind is carrying your scent, and you'll never be caught unaware by your enemies. But ignore it, and anyone might come tracking you. That's it! Good pick! While out in the wild, be sure to watch where your scent is being carried. Making sure your scent doesn't drift into the nose of a foe could be the difference between life or death. Now, shimmying across that ledge should help you cross this ravine. But you didn't hear that from me. For this next task, you'll need to determine which of the doors have a rat hidden behind them. A fake rat, that is, and avoid them. Only one of the doors is free of any intruder. That's the one you've got to pick.
Find the rat, huh? Shouldn't be too difficult. Just got to use my sniffer. Oops! Wrong door.
Be sure to use your nose. Use it right and it will serve you like a second set of eyes.
Aha! No rat hiding here.
Fantastic job, Liam. I'm glad I haven't lost you to the rats yet. Here we'll be making use of our nose once again. First, I want you to focus on those peppers there. Learn the scent and commit it to memory. Spicy with a hint of earth, altogether a fair bit pungent. I'd suggest logging all the scents you learn in your scout journal. Never know when you may need to sniff out the difference between a mole and a mushroom. Well done! Hold that scent in your mind and remember, it's written in your journal if you need a refresher. Now, we know sniffing can help us see the unseen, but it can also help us identify different scents in the air. So, pick out the candle that smells like chili peppers. perfect match, Liam. Robin might as well let us skip the rest of the trials. You're an expert already.
Well, I owe my success to my instructor, Miss Sophia.
You'll need to once again shimmy along the wall to reach the final trial. But be careful. This one's got a twist.
Choose wisely? What's this about, Soph?
Your final trial is a trial of stealth. You've got to use everything you've learned so far. And don't let the rats inside see or smell you. Luckily, us mice are quite small and vermin quite dull, so you should be able to sneak through no problem.
So all I have to do is get by the rats without them spotting me, and then I'll finally be a scout.
Yes, Liam. You'll be an official protector of Lilygrove.
Choose wisely? Choose wisely?
Your final...
So,
Yes, Liam.
what? What's all this?
Congratulations, Liam, our newest member of the Lilygrove Scout Corps.
So, I passed?
And with flying colours.
Excellent work, Initiate. Excellent work. I'm quite certain I couldn't have done any better myself. If I were carrying a sack full of dibbons.
Congratulations, Initiate.
I must confess that I was of the mind that you weren't quite ready. It was Captain Robin who pushed for your somewhat expedited initiation. It would appear he saw something in you that I failed to. Until this evening, that is.
Ever since you were Dibbon, Liam, I thought you'd make an excellent scout. And you've never proven me wrong.
Thank you, sir. It's an honor.
Having completed your training, the official badge and equipment of office are yours to bear. A way glass, a rucksack, and, of course, the blooming lily on your jacket. It brings me great joy and a fair bit of pride to welcome you to the ancient family of the Lilygrove Scout Corps.
There's just one more thing you have to do before you can really call yourself a scout. Follow me, Liam. Finally, you'll get to see Hilltop Camp and meet our very own scout chef, Rootsworth. He'll help you with the soup.
Soup? What soup?
The Scouts are founded on principles of service and fellowship. As such, we crown each new initiate with cooking the Scouts' supper their first night here.
Well, after cooking for a family as big as mine, this'll be easy.
Liam was oddly at peace.
His soul, which had been sore anxious only hours before, was calm, and his animals at rest. Yet despite a still and restful heart, a frigid wind slowly began to pick up from the south, and the crickets stopped their song. Unknown to Ene and Lilygrove, a black-masted ship made landfall in secret. The shadow of a long and iron-barbed tail crept up upon the unsuspecting village.
Welcome to Hilltop Camp, home of the Lilygrove Scouts.
Wow. Your descriptions didn't give this place proper credit.
Why don't you pull out your way glass and I'll give you the royal tour? Down there is our remarkably talented chef, Rootsworth. Honestly, he could be running the kitchens at Redwall if he wanted, but for some reason, he's content to cook for us humble scouts. Not that I'm complaining. You'll be checking in with him after you've collected everything for tonight's suit. Those tents are where the captains sleep. Since they're in charge of keeping the night fires and beacons roaring, they've pitched their stakes by the firewood store. Coil snores like a badger lord, though. I don't know how Robin gets even a wink of sleep. That there is the lakeside watchtower. It gives you a great view of the camp, but not much else. The actual night watch I've mentioned is at the lookout, but that's, closed for construction tonight. Yeah, so, don't go investigating or anything. Isn't that waterfall beautiful? You wouldn't guess when it's frozen over, but just up at its source is a hot spring. It's my favourite place at camp to dip my feet, especially after a fierce day of training. That's the main tent. It's sort of like our very own Great Hall. We use it mostly for hosting guests from neighbouring scout groups. We even have little shoe-sized chairs for when members of the Gaussum come to visit. Down there is our remarkably talented... Those are the Scouts' overnight tents. We don't always stay in them, but they are surprisingly cozy when we do. Well, that concludes our tour of Hilltop Camp. Oh, and if you ever come across an odd pile of flat stones, just take a gander through your way glass. There may be something interesting to see you wouldn't have otherwise noticed. Now, Liam, you've got a soup to cook. Here, Rootsworth gave me this recipe for you to follow. First, you'll need to collect 3 beets from the garden. Beets, not radishes. Your sniffer can tell you the difference. Second, you'll need a cob of corn, a potato, and an onion, all which you'll find over at the obstacle course. And lastly, a wheel of cheese. Apparently, Freebie's got it over by his tent.
Ah, Freebie. Always with his cheese.
Part of initiation night is making the newest scout run around on a wild goose chase. But don't worry, it's all in good fun. Now, you better get collecting.
Aren't you coming with?
Actually, I've got some scout business to attend to, so you'll have to finish preparing the soup on your own. If there's anything you want to talk about before I go, be sure to ask me now.
before you go, Soph,
What's on your mind?
I can't tell you how relieved I am to finally be a scout. I can't imagine you were nervous during your trials. My stomach felt like a brick.
Oh, I was certainly nervous as well. My paws couldn't stop shaking. Tessa said she didn't notice, but I think she was just being nice.
I've got to say, I've been looking forward to our feast tonight all week. Though, I sort of wish it wasn't just for the scouts. It would be nice to have Mom and Pop and all my brothers and sisters there too.
Oh, wouldn't it? Well, next time we see your family, I'm sure they'll throw you a feast themselves. They're always so proud of you.
I know. It's a little much sometimes, actually. Can you believe we're going to be married in just 3 days? Oh, Sophia, I've been dreaming about making you my wife since the day we danced at the Name Day Festival. I'll never forget the way the roses smelled tucked behind your ear.
Oh, Liam, it is rather exciting, though. Everything is going to change.
Yes, it will. But it's a good change. I was thinking about us going to visit my ancestral home in Southwood after the wedding, Castle Fleuret. I have such tiny figments of memory of the place, but I couldn't have been older than an infant. I want to see it now, and I want to see it with you.
Maybe we could go to the western coast. I've always wanted to smell the sea.
We can go anywhere and everywhere.
Have a good night, my love.
Oh my.
Are you sure that's what happened?
I see the sweet aroma of jam caught your nose. Well, if you happen to spot any more of those little wicker baskets of jam around, be sure to grab it. We've got a bit of a contest going on with the other scout corps.
Ah, here's our initiate now. Glad you finally made it.
Finally indeed. The moon's full up and we haven't even started the soup. Your job is to get tonight's supper started, and we'll be making soup. Exactly what kind of soup is up to you, but let old Rootswith give ye a few pointers. Everybody has their loves and everybody has their hates. Tain't no way, no how to make everybody happy. But a smart chef can usually keep everybody fed. Go do your scrounging, and come back here to see how to turn cold water into a hearty broth that'll make a badger lord weep.
I trust your betrothed left you the list of ingredients. Oh, go on then. They won't gather themselves.
Aye, aye, Captain. This beet is a bit pale, but it should do. A juicy red beet, fresh from the garden. This is a carrot, and the shriveled one's a boot. This beet is a bit pale, but it should do. That's all I needed from the garden. Let's see, what's next?
Have you not any work to do?
Could you use some help?
No. Why do you think I need help? I can do this job just as well as any beast here. I don't see you offering to help any of them.
No, I didn't mean anything by it.
Of course not. And I'm sorry for nipping.
Oh, a sharp tongue. You? Never. Oh, honestly, I doubt much of anything could dampen my mood tonight.
Of course. This isn't just initiation for you. It's the start of your new life, isn't it? I'd almost forgotten that. Sophia is a wonderful mouse, Liam. I mean, initiate. And a talented scout. You be sure to tell her I said as much, won't you?
Of course I will. The very moment I've caught her ire and need a quick compliment to ease the strain. You know she speaks very fondly of you. She says you were a great ally in her own initiation.
That I was. And as it should be. Two of us need to stick together, you know. You've got cooking duty tonight. What's the plan? Soup? Twist my whiskers! For my initiation, I had to make stuffed toadstools. Do you see now what I feel put upon? If you are making soup, I have a request. I do ever so long for the taste of fish. Roasted tomatoes, grilled squash, cold meadow cream. I mean, they're all wondrous to be sure, but I long for something more hearty, something that carries all those other things, like a mum carries her wee dibbin.
I see.
What, was that too much?
No, not at all. I've just never heard someone compare their food to a baby. That's all.
When you put it that way, it was too much. Our little secret. You had to ask about me, didn't you? You remember I was always so awkward and graceless. Growing up near mice like your Sophia and Foxglove always put the jiggles in my stomach. That's why me and Cloverdown stuck to fishing. The logic of line and tackle is simple. It never changes, and there's no guessing if the day was for winning or losing. Raby? Well, I wouldn't know the first thing about him. Why'd you ask? I didn't much gather with the Rowmaid girls when we were young. In truth, I kept most often to myself. I've come to be quite fond of Sophia now as we've been scouts together. She's quite a special creature, Liam, and so help me, you better be good to her. She's smart and strong and full of life, that one. Do right by her, and the two of you have a real chance at finding this special life in this great big forest. Don't think I've forgotten all the times you pulled some nasty prank on me when we were young. I especially remember one night you slipped an eel into my bait box.
What? Me? Why, Tusser Paws, Nettle. Perish the thought.
There now, don't get down in the waggles. I said I remembered. I never said I was cross. When we were young, it was as if Cloverdown was my mate and you were a puka. We'd shout and shoo you off, but then we'd laugh at it all that week. I kept mostly to myself, but you were always in my shade, and I took it as a kindness. Seeing how we'll be scouts, and you're off to wed that sweet mouse, I thought you should know. Rootsworth has been quite good to me, I must say. A right gentle mouse he is, excepting the filthy apron, of course. I'll let you in on a secret with him. His father and his father's father were chefs for the Scout Corps. He hasn't got any dibbins of his own, so he's keen to teach his trade to anyone who will listen. Show the slightest bit of interest in cooking, and you're his instant favourite.
Got it. That wasn't so hard. Now then, what's left?
Good evening, Liam. If you're making soup, I hope you had a little rosemary for me. I just love rosemary.
Fraby always says you have a nose to rival any mole. Any tips for my own sniffer?
Fraby is wrong about my nose. Moles have the best sense of smell by an easy league.
I guess he is prone to exaggeration. Still, you're a weathered scout.
Notice how scent moves with the wind over and around obstacles like stones and walls. Scent is never a straight line to its source. Wind and the world change its path. Things like flags and smoke are dead giveaways that the wind is active. If you really concentrate all of your senses, there's a lot you can learn. You can sense much more, sense farther, and with more clarity. It's almost as if you can see right through the walls. If you find yourself in a tight spot, always use your nose, and who knows what you'll learn. Me? Not much to tell, really. You know, I'm only a few seasons older than you, but growing up we never mixed much, did we? I suppose that's my fault. I'm not quite comfortable with other people. Crowds make me anxious. He's been a great friend. Talks enough for the both of us, which suits me just fine. He quite likes company and crowds, always trying to get me to talk more. Speak up for myself, as he puts it. But I'm quite content to let him do it for me. Did you know Tother and Cloverdown are making a quilt together? Seems hard to imagine on both counts to me. Tother sitting quiet with needle and frame, and Cloverdown using thread for anything except catching fish. Captain Robin has been like a second father to all of us scouts, or a first father to some. Every mouth here would lay down their life if Captain Robin said it was the right thing. Most everybody in town thinks I'm simple, won't spare me a second thought. The captain, though, he never flicked a whisker when I applied, and now I'm third in command. A scout is as a scout does, he tells me, and that quite suits me. You're a lucky one, Liam. Sophia always smells so nice and smiles so wide. The Rye-Maid ladies don't get a lot of respect around town, but that'll change now that she wears a bloom. Just you wait and see. Do you remember that hot summer many seasons ago, when you and Bronnock were still Dibbons and down in the reeds, headed toward a row? One you were destined to lose, as he was older, stronger, and most of all, a bully. Remember then how he yelped in pain and ran home, wailing like a raven, leaving you whole and happy and chasing dragonflies? That was a slingstone that scuffed his skull, that was. I wonder how I know that. That's a great mouth, that one. And he seems to understand me better than most. Not much by looking at him, no. But he had the heart of a giant, he does. In a tight spot, I'd want Ruthless at my side before just about anybody else here. Just something about him.
Oh, the path up that cliff face is a real challenge. It must keep everybody but the scouts away, right?
Right. That's by design, that is. Makes Hilltop Camp like our secret hideout.
Exactly. So, does Rootsworth maybe just live up here? Or something?
Huh? Oh, I see what you're getting at. I never thought of that. I don't think Mr. Coyle likes me very much. It's not as though he's unkind or rude or anything. It's just that he seems to look at me like he's always biting his tongue, not saying something he wants to. Do you think I'm imagining? Best I not distract you. Busy night and all.
I see what you're looking at, and since it's a special night for you, I'll forgive the offence.
Pardon me?
No, you don't. You don't get to play dumb. But it is all right. This once. I've been short my whole life, but I'm quite accustomed to the secret looks, the hidden snickers. Oh, I've endured them all. But I won't accept that kind of treatment from another scout. We respect one another round here. It's part of the scout code, so I expect you to abide. Now, take your pouty glare and make another approach. tell me something. And be honest now. Do you think I talk too much? Because somebody who shall not be mentioned told Laban that I talked too much and asked how he could bear it. It got me thinking, that's all. I don't think I talk too much. But it's hard to really know when it's yourself. Do you ken?
I promised myself I wouldn't cry. Ah, potatoes. Boil 'em, mash 'em, stick 'em in a soup. Mama corn, baby corn. Huh, but where's popcorn? Looks like that's all I need from the obstacle course. Where to now? Yes, I've got everything. I better go check in with Rootsworth. I'm positively famished. It took a bit to track down each ingredient, but here they are.
My. Then you've already finished your gathering. And here I thought you were dawdling about.
A few radishes had been mistakenly pulled from the garden, but with the help of Rootsworth and a dollop of rosemary, our young scout delivered a fine soup for the feast.
Is that your soup? You can still mix it up a bit more right now, but once the lid goes on top, you'll be done. Live or die with the consequences.
Yes, I think that's it. What do you think?
I think any meal is better than an empty stomach, and that no mouse is a master overnight. You gave it your best, and that's the point.
Ah, would you smell that? Simply scrumptious. Well, you must be finished with your errands for this evening. Feel free to explore and socialize to your heart's content. When you're quite ready, ring the dinner bell, and we'll begin the festivities.
As Liam walked away from the cauldron, he found himself thinking of the way his large and poor family shared a meal. There were many days that his mother had need to stretch her meager supplies with wild rice or woodland roots, but somehow she always managed. With all the fanfare Rootsworth could muster, a wondrous feast of quince pie, port-basted mushrooms, and a chutney of wild carrots and beets were served alongside the soup. Piles of barley toast and a stout red cheese. Warmed hayberry cordial and chilled mint tea wet all their tongues and lifted their spirits. Last but not least was a lofty, steamed pudding, soaked in pear brandy and set aflame for quite dramatic effect. This was Mr. Coyle's fiery ring of devastation, a fitting, if dramatic, name. Liam laughed loud and sang long and was thanked generously for his, shall we say, questionable stew. But for all the mirth, Liam was troubled at Sophia's absence.
My friends and fellow scouts, tonight we celebrate a new member of our brotherhood.
Sisterhood!
Yes, well, our family all the same. We've all admired your hard work, loyalty, and steadfast spirit. Well done. You entered this camp a nameless initiate. But now, after demonstrating your skill, we give you a new name, known only to yourself and your fellow scouts.
3 cheers for Liam Riverhouse. 3 cheers for Eagle Eye.
Huzzah! 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 Stand now, scouts, and be sober in heart and in mind. Be without fear, malice, or cruelty. Be true to your word, your heart, and your fellow scouts. Be without guile, and speak the truth at all times, kindly if possible, directly in need. Love Lilygrove, the land, and safeguard any who sojourn in her borders. This is your oath, and we, your witnesses, share it with you.
Completing the oath, Captain Robin watched warmly as Liam's fellow scouts shook his paw in congratulations, but he was clearly thinking of other things. Where was his dear Sophia? Gently, Robin led Liam to the platform's edge, presented him with this very way-glass, and bade him look toward the sexton's field. Through the magnifying lens, he saw his beloved, finishing the preparations for an even larger party that only awaited for his imminent arrival. But alas, the party was never to happen. Not that night, not ever. Seen through the glass, a menacing shape stepped out of the shadows. It was a ragged and filthy rat, dressed in strange garb, and wielding a wicked cutlass. Every beast ran as another rat stepped into the firelight, and then another. Suddenly, Sophia was lunging forward with a fiery brand, catching the villain full on the snout and knocking it to the ground. Liam was frozen in shock when Robin grabbed him by the shoulders and spoke most urgently.
I wish we had more time, but what you do this very moment is what makes you a scout. You have everything you need for this mission. Skills, tools, training, but most of all, you have courage. I bid you make haste to our village. Go to the lighthouse and fire the beacon. Be swift but silent, as you must not alert the raiders to our plan. Lend aid where you can, but you must not be captured. I will ready the militia and join you shortly. Every moment counts. Go now, swiftly!
Rather much, isn't it? They're just rats. Those bandits have tried to get in here dozens of times.
William, there you are quite wrong. Redwall has been captured before. Even the great fortress of Salamanderstron has been captured by vermin. We should never underestimate the villains who seek our enslavement. It surely leads to defeat. But more importantly, Lilygrove is no fortress. It's a small village with no wall and few warriors. And these were not scattered brigands, but vicious sea rats pirating under the banner of Clooney, the Scourge. Heart-pounding, the newest scout raced toward the besieged town on a mission to light the beacon atop the decrepit old lighthouse that hadn't burned in ages. Every moment mattered, but remaining undiscovered mattered even more.